Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a plunge into an ancient text that's both utterly fascinating and, fair warning, quite unsettling in its detail. Our mission for this deep dive is to really dig into what it tells us about the profound and, well, often immediate consequences of our actions.
We're focusing on the Cundasūkarikavatthu, a vivid narrative found within the Dhammapada commentary.
Ah, right, the commentary.
Exactly. For those unfamiliar, the Dhammapada commentary is this rich collection of stories that beautifully illustrate the teachings in the Dhammapada itself, which is one of the most revered Buddhist scriptures.
Okay.
And this particular account, Kunda the Pig Butcher, it really highlights a powerful connection between actions and their repercussions, even within this very life.
Right here, right now, almost.
Yes, it's a story packed with surprising detail and some potent lessons. Get ready to explore something quite intense.
It really makes you stop and think. Okay, let's unpack this. So maybe let's start with the man himself. Who was Kunda and what did his life look like, for the better part of it?
Well, Kunda made his living as a pig butcher. That was his trade.
A pig butcher?
And he pursued it for an astonishing 55 years, supporting himself and his family by, well, killing and selling pigs.
55 years? That's a lifetime, really.
It is.
And the source provides an incredibly meticulous and, frankly, quite graphic account of his process. It goes into extreme detail about his methods, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does. The Tang describes a very specific routine. Like during times of famine, Kunda would travel by cart.
Right.
Purchasing piglets for just maybe 1 or 2 measures of grain. Very little.
Wow. Okay.
He'd bring them back, enclose them much like you would cattle, and then fatten them up.
How?
With various grasses and also, quite disturbingly, even their own bodily waste.
Right. That detail is striking. That's already incredibly vivid. But the killing process itself, that's laid out in even more disturbing detail, isn't it?
Yes, the description is stark. It's very methodical. When he chose a pig for slaughter, he would first tie it down.
Completely still.
So it was completely motionless, yes. Then he'd strike it with a 4-sided mallet.
A specific kind of mallet. Why?
Apparently, specifically to make the body meat swell and thicken.
Ah, okay.
After that, he'd force open its mouth, insert a stick between its teeth,
Right.
and pour boiling water directly into its mouth through an iron pipe.
Boiling water. Just straight in.
Straight in, and the water would cause, well, cooked feces to exit from the lower body
Oh, wow.
until chillingly only clear, pure water came out. That indicated an empty stomach.
The level of graphic detail in the source is just...
Yeah.
It's something. It paints such a clear, disturbing picture of Kunda's daily life.
It really does.
Did this meticulous, almost ritualistic brutality continue for his entire career? Was this the whole 55 years?
As far as the text describes, yes, this was his method. After the internal cleansing,
Oh.
he would then pour the remaining hot water onto the pig's back to loosen its black hide, make it easier to remove, presumably.
Yep.
Following that, he'd use a grass torch to burn off the hair,
Okay.
and finally decapitate it with a sharp sword.
And the blood.
The blood would be carefully collected in a vessel and then used to knead the meat.
Knead the meat with the blood.
That's what it says, which was then cooked. Kunda would eat this prepared meat with his family and sell the rest.
And this was his unchanging, brutal daily routine for 55 years.
55 years, day in, day out.
So Kunda spent over 5 decades locked into this gruesome routine. But the text adds another layer to his story, doesn't it? Something profound about his spiritual life, or maybe his complete lack of engagement with it.
That's a really crucial point.
How did this spiritual void kind of set the stage for what was to come?
Well, despite living for over 5 decades in the vicinity of the Tathagata, that's an epithet for the Buddha, the awakened one.
Right near the Buddha.
Yes, geographically close. But the text explicitly states that Kunda never performed any act of merit.
None at all.
Not even something small, like offering a handful of flowers or just a spoonful of food to a monk passing by.
Wow.
This complete absence of positive actions, this sort of spiritual emptiness, it's presented as a critical detail in understanding the narrative's turning point.
And then the consequences began to manifest. And this is the really striking part, not just after his death, but while he was still alive.
Exactly.
This idea of living torment, experiencing a kind of hell realm while still technically alive, it's pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
How did the source describe this actually unfolding?
Well, first, Kunda developed a debilitating disease. But more strikingly, while still alive, he began to experience the torment of the Avīci Mahaniraya.
Avīci, that describes a great hell, right? A really terrible one.
One of the worst, yes. The text goes to great lengths to describe this Avīci torment as intensely hot. So hot, in fact, that merely looking at it from 100 yojanas away, and a yojana is a significant ancient measure of distance, miles maybe.
Okay, a long way off.
A very long way off. Just looking from that distance would cause your eyes to burst.
Just looking at it.
That's the description. Its heat pervades an area 100 yoshanas around.
That's hard to even imagine.
It is. The elder Nagasena even used this powerful simile. He said that a stone the size of a gabled house, like a big building, would instantly melt in the Avīci fire. Yet the beings reborn there, they don't melt.
How? Why?
Because of the immense power of their accumulated negative karma. Their karma sustains them in that suffering.
That's an incredibly vivid and, frankly, terrifying image. So how did this living hell, this Avīci state, actually manifest in Kunda's immediate physical world for his family and neighbors to witness?
Well, his karmic consequence showed up in a deeply disturbing way. He started to physically behave like a pig.
Like how?
Inside his own home, grunting loudly, moving around on his hands and knees. Just like a pig.
Oh, my goodness.
His household members, his family, they tried desperately to hold him down, to cover his mouth, stop the noise. But the text emphasizes something here. Karma's result is unstoppable.
You can't just stop it.
Apparently not. His pig-like cries were so loud, so piercing, that people in 7 surrounding houses couldn't sleep.
7 houses around couldn't sleep because of the noise.
That's what the text says. His family eventually had no choice but to barricade the doors, guard the outside of the house to prevent him from getting out.
Keep him contained.
Yes, while he continued this tormented behavior inside, making these awful sounds.
And this agonizing living torment.
How long did it go on for? It lasted for 7 continuous days.
7 days like that.
Yes. And on the 8th day, Kunda died. And according to the text, was reborn directly into the Avīci Mahaniraya.
Straight there.
Straight there. The text even refers the reader to the Devaduta Sutta for a more detailed description of the specific hell realm, just to emphasize its severity.
What's fascinating here, though, is the stark contrast between the horrifying reality inside Kunda's home and how the monks passing by initially perceived it. What does this gap in perception tell us, maybe about how difficult it can be to truly understand karmic outcomes just from the outside?
It's a really crucial point in the story, I think. Monks were passing by Kunda's house. They heard these horrific sounds.
The grunting, the screaming.
Yes, and they just assumed, well, Kunda's a butcher. He must be slaughtering pigs for some kind of celebration or feast.
Made sense, given his job.
It seemed logical. So they commented to the Buddha about it. They expressed genuine shock, saying, they thought Kunda must lack any loving kindness or compassion. They said they'd never encountered such a harsh, cruel being.
Judging based on the sounds and his reputation.
Exactly. They interpreted the sounds based on Kunda's known profession, completely unaware of the inner karmic torment that was actually happening.
And how did the Buddha then clarify the situation for them? How did he reveal the true nature of what was going on?
Well, the Buddha corrected their assumption directly. He explained, no, monks, Kunda hasn't been killing pigs for these past 7 days. He told them that instead, Kunda's past karma, his negative actions, had ripened.
The consequences were kicking in.
Yes. And he was experiencing the foretaste, the torment of the Avīci Mahaniraya, while still alive, screaming like a pig inside his own home.
Wow.
And the Buddha confirmed that Kunda had actually just died that very day and had indeed been reborn into Avīci.
That must have been quite a revelation for the monks.
We can imagine so.
And it led them to ask this really profound question, didn't it? They asked, Lord, if he grieves in this world and then again hereafter, what does this mean? It suggests this double bunyan of suffering.
It really does. That question goes right to the heart of the teaching on karmic consequence here.
What did the Buddha's answer reveal about this twofold suffering?
The Buddha replied very clearly. He said, yes, monks, a heedless person. And no, he says heedless person, not just evil person.
Right. Heedless. Unmindful, maybe.
Exactly. Unmindful of the consequences of their actions, whether householder or renunciant.
So anyone. It applies to anyone.
Anyone, regardless of their station in life, grieves in both places.
Both here and hereafter.
Yes. He was making it absolutely clear this principle applies universally.
And he further emphasized this with a powerful verse, didn't he? Something that really distills the core of the teaching. It suggests a profound internal reckoning happens even before the external consequences fully manifest.
Precisely. It's a key verse. It states, "He grieves here, he grieves hereafter. The evildoer grieves in both places. He grieves, he is tormented, seeing his own defiled actions."
Seeing his own defiled actions. That's the key phrase, isn't it?
It really is. It clarifies the two forms of grief. Grieves here refers to that moment, maybe at the end of life, or perhaps even earlier when things start to unravel.
Like with Kunda's illness and torment.
Exactly. When the evildoer realizes, maybe consciously or maybe just through the unfolding consequences, I have not done good, I have done evil. It's a grief born from this dawning, painful awareness of one's own karma.
That internal suffering.
Yes. And then grieves hereafter refers to the direct experience of the karmic results in the next existence, like Kunda's rebirth in Avīci.
So this isn't just about, a literal hell in some other dimension, but also about the profound internal hell of regret and self-awareness of one's actions, which can happen even while alive.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a universal principle, really, regardless of specific belief systems. How does this story challenge our perhaps more common understanding of immediate versus delayed consequences? We often think karma is something far off.
It absolutely challenges that. Kunda's torment, his pig-like cries, the text presents this as a terrifying embodiment of seeing his own defiled actions while still alive.
Right. Not just after death.
No. It led to his profound suffering and lamentation even before physical death. The story vividly demonstrates that the ripening of karma isn't always some distant future event. It can manifest with shocking, undeniable immediacy.
It's quite direct.
Very direct. And it's worth noting, the text concludes by saying that at the end of the Buddha sharing this teaching, many listeners attain stages like stream entry.
Which, in Buddhist traditions, signifies a pretty profound initial breakthrough on the path to enlightenment, right?
A very significant realization, yes. It just highlights the impact this story, this teaching had on those who heard it directly.
Kuna's story, for all its intensity and graphic detail, it offers such a vivid and, frankly, unforgettable illustration of karma.
Unforgettable is the right word.
As we kind of wrap up this deep dive, it feels like it's not just about the extreme case of a pig butcher from ancient times.
No, not at all.
It's more like a mirror, isn't it?
Right.
Reflecting the potential ripple effect of all our actions, big or small.
Indeed. This narrative from the Dhammapada commentary serves as this really potent reminder. Every choice we make, every interaction, it shapes not just our outer world, but maybe more importantly, our inner experience and potentially our future states. It forces us, I think, to confront the question, what kind of ripples are we creating right now? And are we truly aware of the potential consequences, both, here in our current lives and hereafter, whatever that might mean for us?
And that's really the core question this story leaves us with, isn't it? As you, the listener, go about your day after hearing this, maybe think about Kunda's brutal, repetitive routine, and then maybe consider the quiet, everyday choices you make. How do those choices, the ones that seem small or mundane, how do they contribute to your here and your hereafter in the broadest sense?
Yeah. What unexpected consequences might actually be brewing in the seemingly ordinary moments of life? It's something worth mulling over.
Definitely something to mull over. Thank you for unpacking that with us.
Thank you. It's a powerful story.